would never do this, but this is how passionate. So I'm there on stage, and he goes, okay, thing. You play the guitar now. You strum the guitar. I said, I don't play the guitar. He goes, yeah, you do. You play the guitar. And I said, Adrian, I don't. He said, yes, darling, play the guitar. I said, I don't play the guitar. He said, darling, that's why I hired you. He meant to hire the guy in front of me. And he made a mistake and hired me instead. And I came home and I said, pack the car, because we're in the car. But he was too lazy to seek the other guy out. But that's how I got a job there. And I was there as an actor. I was there as an actor for 15 years. Yeah. And I did everything from Hickey and the Iceman Cometh to Ethan Frome to. And then he said, I want you to direct. I did Jack Abbott, the guy. Remember Jack Abbott, the man, the Belly of the Beast, the killer who was released from jail when he wrote a book and he killed a waiter in a restaurant about 6 months later because he'd been raised his whole life in prison. I got to do that. We wrote it and put it together. It was a phenomenal time. But I always wanted to be in movies. And I grew up in a small town in Illinois, DeKalb, and I didn't know, I thought it would be easier to fly to Mars than to be in the movies. And so when the opportunity arose, I jumped at it and never looked back. But I directed, and then he left the theater. And they brought in an artistic director, and within 1 year, the theater almost closed. This is a big theater. And so I came in as an interim artist. Adrian said, bring Richard in to do it. I came in and did it. I was supposed to do it for a year. I did it for 4 years until we brought in Oscar Eustis, who now runs the Public Theater. And he was there for 12 years. So it's not what I wanted to do, but I had a great time doing it. But I was doing a play at the Long Wharf Theater, Holiday, and my now manager, who's been with me for 30 years, was there with Sandy Dennis, and she said, sign him. I was 36 years old. 36, and I thought regional theater was my life. I'd gone out to LA for a year, and I didn't have enough gas money to drive back to New England. I had to borrow $200 from my uncle in the Air Force at San Bernardino for gas money to drive back. So he signed me, and he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do movies. I don't want to do theater anymore. He said, okay. But where do you live? I said, I live in Rhode Island. He said, I don't care. But when I call you, you have to get on that train or drive here. If I call you 5 times a week for 2 lines, you've got to do that, or we're not going to. I said, fine. And for years, I would get on the train. It's 5 hours. This is for the Acela Express. 5 hours down there, and I would get in, and I'd read, and I'd say, okay, spread them. Thank you. We got a 5-hour train ride. And all I said was spread them, you know. But I did that for years and years and years. And he, you know, he got me to Witches of Eastwick, which was the one that kind of started me going. So if people tell you luck has nothing to do with it, they're lying. They're absolutely lying. Yeah, because none of us are that good. It's luck isn't huge. And you look back on your life as an actor, and it's a lot of happy accidents. Yeah.
This is kind of continuing with that question. You've been in a lot smaller, memorable roles.
Well, let's just say memorable. I don't know. And it's not something I ever thought would happen. Tom wrote it for me. He said, I see you as every man. And he's watched a lot of my performances and wrote this part for me. And he gave it to me and said, tell me what you think, if you want to do it. I called him up and I said, Tom, nobody's going to give you the money to do this movie with me in it. And he said, that was my question. You want to do it, you let me worry about the money. And he just was, he never stopped. I mean, he never said, I never saw it where he went, maybe this is not a good idea. I mean, he was fantastic. Yeah. But, yeah.
Is there a certain actor that like influenced you the most in your career?
I'm Marlon Brando guy, you know, I'm sorry. It's like he's the greatest. And, you know, there's so many great actors. There really are. There are just some great actors out there. Working it has something to do with when I grew up. I grew up watching, you know, Cool Hand Luke in college. It was like, or HUD. I mean, my God, Paul Newman. And then I got to work with him, and he's the hardest worker I ever worked with. And he got better and better and better. He came out with Brando, and he sucked, and he knew it. He said, there I was, you know, born at the same time with this talent that just was like, he said, it was like humiliating. And he knew it, and he worked harder than anybody. And the last 15 years of his life, his performances are just, I mean, The Verdict is just, he's just fabulous performances. And that was, to work with him was a real honor. I mean, he is what he seems. He's just a great, great guy.
Have we done it? Well, if we have, and it's just about a good time to draw things to a close because we're coming up to the top of the hour, I think that we should tell you how appreciative we are that you came to St. Louis.
Wisconsin on there. Thank you. That's very nice. I appreciate that. I'm just glad somebody came.
Well, thank you very much. Take care.